in our trip. And there you go. So we're recording this. And again, I want to thank you for being here and being on Zoom. I'm Lynn Ward, and I'm President and CEO of the Waterbury Regional Chamber. Our chamber has been sponsoring trips for about 7 years now. And we really enjoy doing the trips. We enjoy getting to go on vacations, wonderful vacations with people from our community, from our chamber, and sometimes relatives of people from our communities. So we look forward to you joining us on this trip. And I want to welcome Ian Scott, who is the president of the company that we have been really pleased with and doing business with, and that is Quest Voyager. So Ian, thank you for coming from California to be here with us in Waterbury. And thanks for going through everything about this trip coming up to Sicily.
Thanks, Lynn. Thanks for having me here today. And yeah, thanks for all coming on a wonderful evening. Did you get your sun lotion on before you got in the car tonight? Or a raincoat? I forget which one. It's one or the other. Thank you all for coming, even online. In a moment, with the aid of slides, we're going to go through the wonders of Sicily with a 3-night extension in Malta. So we're going to go through, we'll see the hotels, we'll see things we're going to do together, things that can be done independently. We'll show you how to sign up for the trip. We'll go through, all about passports and such things as that, and hopefully answer all your questions. I can't see anybody online in their hands, but in the room in front of us, who's traveled with the chamber before? Well, what's happened to all these people at the front? Why haven't you traveled with the chamber before? Everybody at the back, that's a worry. People at the back of the room is always a worry to me. But thank you for coming back again. It's a testament to the chamber and what they've done. They have wonderful programs. These programs are what I call international awareness programs. These programs are designed to take you outside Waterbury, outside the US, and experience different cultures, different histories. Meet people from the locale where we're at. So Italians or Sicilians. I'll make a distinction. Sicilians are different, really, than Italians. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But all traveling with like-minded individuals from the Waterbury area, or friends and family of like-minded individuals from the Waterbury area. Now, in a moment, as I said with the slides, we're going to go through everything. If I could ask a favor of you, if you could hold your questions to the end, I would greatly appreciate it, because by the time we arrive at that section, I'm sure that the majority of your questions will already have been answered. So, this program, for those people at the back of the room that's traveled with me or with the chamber before, you've probably been on what we call the cruise philosophy on land. These types of programs is what Quest Voyager specializes in. So like going to New York or Florida or maybe, Miami or maybe a Houston, and jumping on a cruise ship. In those types of trips, you take the Crusade clothes and unpack and cruise along through the islands. Well, we're going to do something very similar. We're going to do the same by heading out to Sicily. Now, we can't just do one destination like on that cruise ship. We do 2 destinations on this particular program. We'd be doing you an injustice if we just went to Palermo or just went to Taormina. So it's a hybrid cruise philosophy on land that we're running this time with a 2 destination. But again, like a cruise ship, it allows you to unpack your suitcase, take the Crusade clothes, go on tour in the day, come back to the hotel, find a favorite bar, favorite restaurant, infiltrate into the local Sicilian environment, and have a relaxing program with no constant packing and unpacking. Those packing and unpacking programs, often you need a vacation after you come off of those vacations to rest up after them. So yes, that's what we've got here. A truly relaxing trip. Now, once those two destinations are over and done with, some of you may go home. The more wiser group will head on to Malta for an optional 3-night extension. We'll see all those in a moment, okay? Now, if I may ask a favor, if you could hold your questions to the end, I would greatly appreciate it. By the time we arrive at that section, I'm sure that the majority of questions will already have been answered. But if I haven't, please feel free to fire them at me at that stage, even if you're online. As you're online, and we're going through this, if you want to type away, you'll find the chat feature. Is it Zoom we're using? Yeah. On Zoom, it's usually in the middle of the toolbar. You'll find a chat. Oh, is it to the left-hand side? Yes, it's to the just off middle on the left-hand side. You'll find two conversation boxes, and click on that, and you'll be able to type away with your questions as we're going through, and we'll read those questions out and answer them at the end. So, without further ado, let's go ahead, and I'll ask Terry to turn on the presentation, and look. Full screen, please. Because otherwise it won't, there you go. Okay, so off we go, and let's move on now to Sicily, wonderful destination. I mentioned there's a difference between Sicily and Italy. Yes, Sicily is part of Italy, but it has grown up all by itself. Because of its nature and where it's located, you'll find that Sicily is probably what Italy was some 50 to 60 years ago. It's very authentic. It's not as commercialized as the mainland. And I'm sure you've all seen numerous movies about Sicily. It's beautiful, but it's harsh countryside. Yes, we are going to be experiencing that. Now, Sicily has been influenced by the Greeks, the Romans, and Arabs and Norman civilizations over centuries. And yeah, we're moving. It has Europe's largest active volcano, Mount Etna. Our home from homes on this particular trip are Palermo and Taormina. As we move along, it's, yes, known for typical Italian traditions and landscape. Great wines, great foods. It's history spanning centuries upon centuries. It was actually inhabited back 800 BC by Phoenicians and Greeks. It then became part of the Greek Empire a little bit later on, in the 3rd century BC. The Romans have had a time over there, as well as I mentioned earlier, Byzantine Romans, Arabs, and Normans, each leaving a trace, a little bit of history, a little bit of architecture along the way. The cuisine, second to none. Again, all influenced by those cultures that have occupied the land, whether it's Spanish, Norman, Arab, Greek, or yes, typical Italian cuisine. You'll find great salads, gardens, vegetables, meats, and cheeses. I just came back from France last week, so I'm not talking too much about cheese. I OD'd on cheese last week. But Sicily is known for its hospitality. It's deeply rooted into the community and family. And yes, the Sicilian culture emphasized kindness and generosity. It's all part of the European Union. So yes, we'll talk a little bit about passports and visas, but it's part of the European Union, so it's a safe and stable region that we're heading into. Our first night is when we'll leave New York on an overnight flight bound for Italy. We'll most probably have to connect in a European gateway, probably Rome, before arriving into and welcome to Italy, a land of traditions and surprise. We'll be met by our tour director at Palermo Airport. They are knowledgeable, gracious, full of information. They've forgotten more about Sicily than we will ever know. And then you'll meet your driver in our modern air-conditioned motor coaches, and off we'll go to downtown Palermo, the vibrant capital city of Sicily, full of a rich history and culture. Now this Palermo was founded in the 8th century BC by the Phoenicians, and again you'll find all different types of architecture that each occupier brought together and built whilst they're there. Here we are in the main coastal area. Now our home from home on this one is the Grand Plaza of Borsa. That's our hotel. It's built in the grand old Italian style. Oh, I apologize, I haven't sent it, so here we are. It's only a hop, skip and a jump from the Grand Theatre and the Palermo Harbour. It offers everything we'll need for our stay here in Palermo. It's a typical 4-star property, satellite TV, direct dial telephones, internet, private bathrooms, direct dial telephones, bars, restaurants, room service, and a friendly and efficient staff and management. And you can see a little bit about it there. The first night's a night to relax and take it easy. We've traveled, so why not head to the local cafe, have a glass of Sicilian wine, a sandwich, something to eat, and then just look around you and realize, boy, I'm in Sicily. I'm in Palermo, experiencing the Sicilian way of life. Day 3, we'll find ourselves on our first tour. It's our Palermo city tour. We'll be learning about the capital city. We'll also be seeing things that haven't changed in centuries. So here's a shot that dates back to the 1400s. Look at the dome of the tower there. Of course, we can see the famous volcano behind. And here we are, right here, as we go through on our city tour, as we head into and see the Archbishop's Palace, which was built in 1185. It has a mix of Moorish and Gothic architecture with a spot of Baroque thrown in there for good measures too. We'll continue on to the famous Plaza de Normani, or the Royal Palace of Palermo, built in the 9th century. We'll wander through its gardens and arrive through to its main plaza, which we're looking at right here, with its ornamental fountains and waterfalls and typical beautiful architecture. After that, we'll see the Victor Emmanuel Theatre, which is the oldest theatre in Europe, which dates back to 1897. And here we are again with the same theatre, a little different view. Continuing on, well, we've got a bit of, later after that, we're heading out to Monreale, just located on the outskirts of Palermo. It's a striking Norman cathedral with spectacular cloisters, constructed in the 12th century by King William. Here we are at the cloisters itself, and spectacular columns and history will be found today. We'll carry on after that, back to our hotel, rest up, relax, take it easy. And day 4, we'll find ourselves either on a free day or with a tour with only you in mind. So if you've traveled with us before, we pride ourselves in a mixture of included tours and a bit of free time if you wish to wander, do whatever you like. Don't forget you've got your concierge with you who will be able to tell you how to get from point A to point B, your tour director that is. Or if you wish to be on the go every minute of the day, you can be, and we're heading out to Marsala. Marsala, and the town is known for its fortified wines, founded in the 4th century BC, but it's also known for its beautiful architecture, its coastal promenade, beautiful piazzas. We're looking at the Piazza del Republic right now. It's also known for its salt. Its salt is highly sought after throughout the world. During Phoenician times, they brought in the salt industry here, and they trapped the seawater in there, and through evaporation, and of course wind and sun, they bring forth a beautiful pink salt, which is highly sought after, and there's a true distinctive flavor coming from the ocean here in its salt. After that, we'll head into the vineyards areas where we will visit a typical family-run vineyard. We'll meet the owners. We'll learn of the process of making the fortified Marsala wine using typical grapes. We'll head down into the cellars, see all the vats of thousands of bottles or gallons of wine, and then we'll also have a sampling along the way with a nibble or two of some typical Italian cheeses and meats. Before we know it, we'll have spent our time here in Palermo, and on day 5, we'll find ourselves leaving Palermo behind, carrying on to Agrigento, and then into Taormina on the southern coastline. Along the way, we'll be stopping through to the Valley of the Temples. Built in, and now we're really going back in time, 580 BC is when this Valley of the Temples was started to be built by the Greek settlers. It's a World UNESCO Heritage Site, and it's the best preserved Greek architecture and ruins outside Greece itself. We'll be able to see beautiful Greek temples. We'll see the Temple of Concordia and Juno whilst there, and as you go through with your private guide and tour director. After that, we'll continue into the town itself, where we'll have some time for lunch, some time to wander, maybe do a spot of local shopping for Sicilian goods, before arriving through into the coast and into Taormina, or the Taormina area. Now, Taormina is the hilltop village. Down below is the coast of Nexus. And we'll be staying in Nexus on the coast itself, and our hotel is the Campanile. Again, everything we're going to need for our stay here, a first-class 4-star property, right there on the beach. Not that anybody needs it, but it has a wonderful gym and spa area, restaurants, spas, beautiful views across the ocean. And it is approximately 2.5 miles away from the hilltop town of Taormina. But the hotel, should you wish to, you can go backwards and forwards, because there's a complimentary shuttle bus that takes you up to the village whenever you'd like. And it's much better to be down on the coast and use the bus than sooner getting into one of those smaller, older hotels up there. But again, everything we're going to need for our time is right there. We can see, well, we can only just see the photographs. We can see the beach there. We can see one of the rooms too. Little rooms has all the modern conveniences of all the hotels on the program: satellite TV, direct dial telephones, private bathrooms, shower or bath, Wi-Fi, all that good stuff, along with restaurants and bars. But Nexus is everything that we're going to need for our stay. Lovely downtown area with bars, restaurants, cafes, a promenade to wander, and it's known for its golden sandy beaches, great seafoods, Sicilian style cuisine, and all those restaurants roaming along the coastal promenade. Day 6 will very soon be upon us, and here we are, day 6. We've got our city tour of Taormina. Now, yeah, fingers crossed, touch wood, we'll have spectacular views of Mount Etna, which we're looking at here. As I mentioned, the largest volcano in all Europe, and it's still an active volcano. Maybe we'll see a puff of smoke coming out of it every so often. It is always a highlight when that does happen, but Taormina has been a tourist destination since the 18th century, and its landmark is its 3rd century Greek theatre, which we're looking at right here. Still in perfect working condition. There are plays and musical concerts performed at this theatre on an annual basis. And here we are again, looking across to Mount Etna itself. Part of our guided tour will be downtown area, looking at the beautiful architecture, some exquisite dining options should you wish to. In the evening, you can pop up to Taormina, wander its narrow cobbled streets, eat in a cafe or restaurant, and come back to the modern luxury of your hotel in the evening. Now, in the afternoon, it's a half-day tour that we just described. In the afternoon, you've got some free time to do whatever you wish to, or if you'd like to, you'll go on an optional tour to Etna. Now, it's an optional tour if you don't reserve your space by March the 7th. If you do reserve your space, and you might be able to just see it, there's a very small EBD tour in parentheses there. If you do sign up for it on or before March the 7th, this is free of charge. But Europe's most active volcano will be there. It's about 11,000 feet high. We'll be taking you up. You won't need your walking boots or a yak to take you up there. We'll be taking you up by bus, and we'll be heading up to the viewing platform. We don't go right to the very top, but you'll be able to go to the viewing platform, which brings up spectacular views of the entire area. It's almost a lunar landscape as we head through, excuse me. And here we can see the building there of the observatory. From there, we can wander around a little bit, look at some of the craters. You'll see the rich volcanic soil, which, yes, makes the area extremely fertile for orchards. Grape wine and vineyards are in and around the area just because of the soil that comes from the volcano itself. And here's some of the views down to the valley floor and down to Palermo, down to Taormina and all around. That evening, come back, take it easy, relax, enjoy the Sicilian life, have dinner, and just, Yes, drink in the atmosphere. Day 7 will be upon us, and we have a tour to Syracuse and Catania. Now, Syracuse, founded by the Greeks in 734 BC. Right there on the Mediterranean itself, near the old town square. We'll see the Greek theatre, you can see the cathedral right there. And here we have the cathedral again. Built on, and the cathedral itself is built on an older cathedral. So the catacombs below even are older than itself there. We'll continue on after that. And, excuse me, I'm not moving. Here we got it, and then we'll move once more down into the main fortifications and the fortifications of the harbour, and then continuing, we'll head into Catania further on. Dates back to the 8th century, and you can see the volcano in the background. Over the centuries, Catania has been destroyed on numerous occasions due to the volcano, but you see a beautiful, typical Sicilian city. Here we are with the famous Duomo here, and then we'll continue on to the Greek theatre. The Greek theatre dates back to the 6th century, and of course, the Greek theatre had to be built by the Greeks, and it used to hold up to 7,000 people. After that, we've got a free day, and then there's an optional tour over to Messina. Messina, again, a beautiful coastal town, and here we're looking at it right here. We've got the Fountain of Neptune that we'll see, and we'll continue then on to somewhere that you've probably all seen. So, you might not know you've seen it, but you have if you're a fan of the Godfather movie. So this is where Vito Corleone, where they were shouting out for him, when they were looking for him, when he left to go to America. Francis Ford Coppola used this area and this village as a backdrop of that. And it's like going back into the movies, going back into time. And here you can see the walled city around it, and Bar Vitelli. We've all been in here too, even though you don't know it. This is where Vito Corleone proposed to his Sicilian, well, to the Sicilian father of his first wife, who got blown up in the car, if you remember the movie itself. So this is where it was filmed inside. We wander in that main entrance, photographs of the movie being made, and such. It's a wonderful view of the history of the movie. And why not, whilst here, we'll have some typical Sicilian ice cream, which will be part of the tour itself. We'll continue, we'll have some free time in and around the town itself, head out to the walled area, as I showed you at the beginning, look at the views down to the coastline, and just view in all the beauty. Last night, last day is today in Sicily. Time to do a spot of shopping, get those souvenirs to bring home, and before we know it, day 9 will be upon us, and we'll be jumping on our motor coach to come to the airport, to Catania, for our flight back to the US with cherished memories of a Sicilian adventure, whilst traveling through a land of warm and inviting, friendly people soccer crazy people, but warm and inviting people who will welcome you open-heartedly into their homeland with spectacular landscapes. History spanning centuries upon centuries. Some of the oldest European history is to be found. When we get to Malta, we've got a bit older, but all that mixed again, as I mentioned, with a land of culture, history, and a very friendly people with wonderful, wonderful food. Now, what do we get for this particular program? You get round trip air from New York. We get first class hotel accommodations, 4-star accommodations for 7 nights. We've got 10 meals, which equates to daily full breakfasts and 3 dinners. We've got your sightseeing, you got a city tour of Palermo, you got a city tour of Taormina, we've got the Valley of the Temples in Agrigento, we've got Catania and Syracuse. And as long as you sign up for the trip before March the 7th, you'll also have the Etna tour included. We've got our journey of discovery, where we'll, if you've traveled with us before, we try to bring you into something unusual in the area. So yeah, we're going out to see the movie set on The Godfather. We've got some in-depth learnings and meeting of locals too. We've got a professional tour director upon arrival in Palermo until you depart from Catania Airport. First-class motor coaches, air-conditioned motor coaches for all transfers and tours. You've got your baggage handling in and out of the hotels too. All this for $39.99 per person, double occupancy, including all that air from New York, 7 nights, meals, tours, somebody to look after you and such. If you'd like to watch whatever you'd like to on the TV in the evening, you can go single. And that the single supplement is $7.99 per person. The tour, the price includes fuel surcharges of $3.50 and land taxes of $150 a person. As I mentioned earlier, that price is an early bird discount price as long as you sign up on or before March the 7th. Now, I'm going to be very frank, I've been assisting Lynn in the chamber and Terry for many years. Please, I encourage you, don't wait until March the 7th to sign up, because it's probably sold out way before that. That's why I'm here now talking to you right now. I think we're at 29 people already signed up. How many people have already signed up? Oh my goodness, only 3 of them.
And several online.
And few online, okay. So please do not wait, because these trips each year do sell out. We are looking at, right now we're 3/4 of one bus. Historically, we have 2 bus movements a year, which equates to 2 bus drivers, 2 tour directors, guides. So you won't be crammed in on a bus, but yes, please make sure you sign up sooner than later to avoid disappointment. Now, after the, which is usually the moot point for Waterbury, but after the 7th, the price goes up by $100, and if you want to go to Mount Etna, it's $89 a person, okay? Now, while we're there, approximately 80% of all Waterbury travelers say, I'm already there, I'm going to go see some more. So in this case, the extension, the optional extension, is the Valletta Malta. Wonderful destination, a destination that's not widely traveled in Europe. It has so much waiting for you. Not just the walled city that you're looking at here, but there's so much history and culture waiting for you. Now, what's included? Ferry, high-speed ferry from Catania to Malta to Valletta. Now, in some occasions, I'll be frank, sometimes we have to use the flight. So we may fly, we'll be able to let you know that a little bit later on. But we're planning right now to use the ferry service. We have 4-star accommodation, first class 4-star accommodation for 3 nights. We've got 4 meals, which equates to 3 breakfasts and 1 dinner. We've got a tour program, a walking tour of Valletta, we've got the Hagar Om tour and temple and all that. Oh, I apologize. No, we've got a tour director. We'll have a separate tour director on the program, which will meet in Malta, as it's a different country, a different history. So you will have already waved goodbye to your Sicilian person. We've got our modern air-conditioned motor coaches, baggage handling in and out of the hotel. $7.99 per person double occupancy, $2.99 single supplement. Now, I'm going to, again, very frank with you, if you know you want to go and you're single, you have nobody to share with, sign up very soon. There's only so many singles that we can take. The hotels don't allow us to take a lot, so that one will go quicker than the trip itself. So please sign up ASAP. And here we are as we go through the trip. We'll be heading out of Taormina, in actual fact, Catania, and heading to Malta on a ferry. Typical ferry, it takes, depends on the speed of the ferry, anything from 90 minutes to 2 hours to get between places, but it is a beautiful view as we come in, as we come into Valletta through the main harbour itself. Now, our home from home is the Victoria Hotel, a boutique style hotel, 4-star first class property. I've said it twice already, but I'll repeat it. All modern conveniences that you can need: satellite TV, twin, double beds, or 2 beds. There's a lovely spa there, private bathrooms with toiletries, restaurants, bars, friendly and efficient staff and management. Great location too. We've got a picture of one of the bedrooms and a picture of the lobby itself. It is the Victoria Hotel, and they pride themselves on a Maltese version of Victorian architecture and decor within. First night, a night to relax, take it easy and enjoy the Maltese way. On day 10, we'll find ourselves on our city tour of Valletta. And we'll be heading into the old town itself, which was heavily fortified. This was constructed in the 16th century by the Knights of St. John. So now we're into the Crusades. And it's quite funny, I'm talking about the Crusades. I actually saw last week in France, Richard the Lionheart's grave. And I did not know it was in France. What is that all about? He was one of our most famous kings and he's in France. At least it was Normandy, so it was backwards and forwards in France or England at that time. But yes, we're into Richard the Lionheart territory, the Knights of St. John. In the fortifications, as you can see here, is a credit to the Knights that they built such strong fortifications. And here we are at the famous Valletta Gate, where we'll enter the old city itself. From there, we'll head into Valletta. We'll see a lot of its beautiful architecture with its floating balconies, which were designed that you could, some had glass in them, some of them were semi-obstructed, so you couldn't see, or people couldn't see you spying on them down below in the street. We'll head out to the St. John's Cathedral after that. St. John's Cathedral, it dates back to 1577. Again, built by the Knights of St. John. It's known for its wooden carving and its gilded gold. as we can see here. And it is a spectacular piece of ancient architecture. After that, we'll continue into Republic Square, which is the cultural heart of Valletta. And it is one of the most prized public squares in the city itself. Continuing on to the Hall of Justice, or the Court of Justice, which is the judicial system and the home of Maltese law. And it's a beautiful neoclassic building. After that, we'll head in and see St. George's Square, which is where the President of Malta now resides. And it's steeped, this square and building is steeped in political history and significance. After that, we'll find a few more things along the way. There's the Triton Fountain. This is probably the youngest thing that we're going to see along the way, back from 1959 it was constructed. And it is supposed to be the mythical gods coming out of the ocean, we can see right there. We'll have a free afternoon that day, maybe relax, take it easy, wander down those streets in Valletta, or if you'd like to, we've got an optional half-day tour to Vigo and to the Maltese Museum itself. We'll be able to see the main fortifications in the main fortifications in Valletta, which is now Fort St. Angelo, which is a military museum. We'll wander into the military museum. We'll learn about the fortifications of the past, and still, Second World War. There's a lot of Second World War history. And even with this fortification, we'll be able to see the Inquisitor's Palace, and we'll head down its narrow tunnels and turrets and such things as that, which comes from the siege of Valletta in 1565. But it also was used, as I said, in the Second World War. After that, take it easy, relax, back to the hotel. Day 11 will be upon us, and we've got an optional tour to Hagar Quim, which now we are really getting into some old places, and some of the oldest places left on the planet. This temple dates back to somewhere in the vicinity of 3,200 to 3,600 BC. And it's an ancient temple complex, which is a testament to Malta, its preservation, and its prehistoric heritage. Before we know it, we'll be on day 11. Time to go back to the airport, this time to Valletta, and fly back into a European gateway for our flight back to the US with memories of a wonderful trip through to Sicily, Italy, and Valletta, Malta. Now, importantly, for this trip, you will need a passport. It will have to have a minimum of 3 months, but I always say, for safety's sake, have 6 months left on it from your last day of the trip, whether it's in Sicily or whether you continue on to Malta. You will need 2 blank pages too, for that passport to be valid. Now, you may have heard that there's a possibility, and I emphasize a possibility, we might need a travel authorization. I'm going to use the word visa, but it's not really a visa. The European Union don't call it a visa. But for the sake so we understand what it is, it's a little bit like a visa, but it's a travel authorization. They said it would be brought in 2013. They said it was coming in 2023, sorry. It didn't. They said it was going to come in 2024. It didn't. They're now saying it's going to come in 25. Well, maybe it will, but we don't know. Having said that, it's nothing too strenuous if it does come in. It's going to cost us just under $10, about €7, And if it happens, we'll let you know and we'll show you how to reserve it. And I know Terry will be there to help you if you've got any issues at all. But basically what it's going to be, it's all online. You'll go to a website, you'll put in your name, your passport number, answer a couple of questions, pay your money, and it should be, unless you're an international villain wanted by, every court in the world, you'll get a response within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, that it's all taken care of. It says it can take up to 4 days, but I doubt it. It's just a revenue generating event, even though it's only $7, €7, sorry. So that's what's going to happen. But don't worry about that now. It's easy. It's really quick to do, and €7 isn't going to break the bank. And we'll let you know if that does go ahead and happen. Now, how do we sign up for the trip? It's nice and easy. We've got 29 that's already done. We use the brochure. Well, you've got printed out ones in front of you in the room. If you're online, you've probably seen it. I think it's on the Chamber's website, right, Liv?
Yes.
You are from the Chamber's website. You can click on that red link where the arrow is pointing to, and it will launch the booking engine. And here we are on the booking engine right here. The booking engine is an information page at the beginning. There's information about the paragraph or two about the trip. The highlights, we've got Terry's information underneath there, her email, her telephone number, should you have any questions. And if you have any questions, Terry's the one that you'll contact. And then after that, we've got pictures. We've got a day-to-day, and I'll show you further down, there's a day-to-day with arrows. You can go backwards and forwards to look at the day-to-day and such. But for the sake of the presentation today, we're just going to click on that green button right there that says reserve, and this is what's going to pull up. Now, it automatically comes to this particular sheet right here. Now, this is the how many section of the trip. We pride ourselves on this booking engine because we try to make it as easy as Amazon Prime. There's more Amazon Prime trucks than there is kids in the US at the moment being born. So Amazon seems to be doing something, right? So we try to duplicate the simplicity of it. So the first page is how many. It always defaults to, and as you look down here, maybe you can see, I can't see it from here, but you'll see inside the pull down section, by the blue arrow, it automatically defaults to 0 on everything. This is where you're going to put how many. So if you happen to be a couple or a husband and wife, or one person that's going to pay for 2 people with one form of payment, you're going to go through and you're just going to press 2 on everything. So on this one, we've got 2 people double occupancy. We've got, I'm going to pop over so I can see what it is. We've got 2 people on the Masala tour, and we've got 2 people on the Mount Etna tour. Now, it is free. It is part of the early bird discount. If you don't tick, yes, I want to go on Mount Etna, we think you're violently opposed to going. So please make sure you put, if you're going on there, and how many tickets you need for that, okay? And as we've gone further down, we're going to Malta too. Every time you change or put a number on there, to the right-hand side, it automatically changes the cost of the product, okay? And it's dynamic. It works really, really well. As we go further down, there's 2 ways right now. Form of payment, you can pay deposit, which is $800 per person, and whatever options you selected. We encourage you to sign up for the optional tours now, and we encourage you to sign up for the extension now, because we are extending your stay. We're getting you different air tickets, we're getting you ferry tickets, we're also getting you more hotel in a different country. So do please sign up for those as we speak, okay? So, You can pay the deposit plus the tour section, which is right there, or if you wish, yes, you won't be chastised if you want to pay for it all in full as well. So you can click that next box under there, pay it all in full. And that's it. Put 222 down there if somebody's going to pay for two people with one form of payment, whether it's a credit card or a banking account. Now, for the sake of this and for simplicity, I'm going to say, and the next one is if there is two people, that we just happen to have two ladies here at the front. Don't know if you're traveling together, but you are right now, for the sake of this. So these two ladies at the front are going to travel together, share the same room, but they're going to pay by their own credit cards. So instead of putting two in all these, they're just going to put one. So one of these, I'm just going to call Anne Smith, is filling this out, and she's put one here. In a double occupancy, it sounds a little strange, one person in double, but we'll come to this in a moment, you'll see what it's all about. One person on the Marcella tour, one person on Mount Etna. See the zero, when you tick one on, put one on there, it doesn't put a cost there because it's free. One person on the Malta tour. And the price and such things that will be charged is right there on the right hand side, and at the bottom, that's what we've got. You can choose pay in full or just the deposit and tour section. Okay. As we now come to the next section, this is the passenger information. You'll see right at the top here is the buyer information, and it says participant information, and there's a 1. Okay. For the sake of this example, so we're not going to go through two people. There's only going to be one person here, participant information, because this is Anne Smith who's filling it out, and such, or in fact it's John. It's John Smith that's filling it out. Okay, so you'll find that there are starred sections throughout this section. So first name, last name is a starred. It's required that you put that in there. It's required you put your email, your home address, city, state, and zip code and contact number are all starred. And next one is your date of birth. Select your date of birth from the pull down. Then we've got the next section. This is a long list in a HTML format. Now we've got your name as it appears in your passport. Last name, first name. Those two are starred sections, but the middle name is not starred because you may or may not have a middle name in your passport. If you do, please put it in there, even though it's not starred, put it in there, your name as it appears in the passport, okay? But we didn't want to make it mandatory just in case you don't have one. Then we've got your gender. The airlines require this, male or female, tick that box, and your passport number. Now, we're asked for all this information about your passport, but we're not making your passport a starred number as a starred event. Why? Because if your passport runs out before the end of, well, it's got less than 6 months on it, after the last day of your trip, you're going to have to go and get a new one. Your name should not change, your first name and your last name should not change unless you tell the passport company you're changing your name. So your name will be exactly the same as your old one, but your passport will get a new passport number. Okay? So as soon as you get a new passport, get it over to Terry and she'll get it over to us. But if your passport's good, drop your passport number in there, the passport issue date, the passport expiration date, and so on. If you are highly efficient and you might have a copy of your passport on your computer, photograph. If you do, click on that upload, it will open up a window inside your computer, find out where your picture of your passport is, click it on it, and it will attach to the reservation. So it's all done nice and easy. Now, the next section, room type. Single, double one bed, double two beds, okay? Tick which one, and it is a mandatory field. Nearly finished, and you can ask your questions in a moment. So remember, this is how we're going to sign up for one person sharing another room with somebody else. So we'll see now, roommate's name. So now John Smith is going to be sharing with somebody else. He's going to indicate who he's sharing the room with, last name, first name. Now we know who he's sharing the room with, and that person will fill out one of these and indicate sharing the room with John Smith. Air gateway, excuse me. The trip includes air out of New York. If that's all you want, then don't mess with any of the rest underneath. Tick that box. Yes, I'm flying with the group out of New York. But if you've got somebody, a family member, who wants to go out of DC, you've got an auntie in San Francisco who wants to come, you've got an ex-neighbor that lives in Dallas-Fort Worth, they could put Dallas-Fort Worth, and we can assist them with transportation out of those locals. So if they want to, or if you want to go out at a different gateway, tick that box there. No, I want to go out of a different gateway. It's $150 to deviate and to go out of a different gateway. Lastly, the last box is I've got oodles of air miles, or I've got a free ticket. I don't want any airfare at all. I'll make my own way to Palermo and leave from Catania, or leave from Valletta. By ticking that last box, you'll get an $800 deduction from the final price of the trip, and you'll make your own way over there. Okay? If the last box is what you're going to do, yes, tick that box, and then in notes, you'll put whatever gateway you want to fly out of. Okay? Then we get into global entry, TSA global entry. If you've got one of those, drop that number in there, and we'll put it in the system, and we'll inform the airline of that. Any dietary needs, right there. Low sodium, fat-free diets, such things as that. We're in Europe, so yeah, we should be able to accommodate all those on this with advance notice, and the sooner you can tell us, the better it is. Lastly, we're getting into, if you happen to be like me, I'm never great at dates. So this particular trip, final payment will be 131 days before we depart. Okay? If you don't want to remember that, you tick that box right there, enable auto billing, and you'll get an email about 7 days before that date, and it'll say, final payment's coming soon. You'll get an email 3 days before saying, yes, it's coming on this date. Please make sure you've got enough funds on your credit card or in your bank account. And then on the day, it automatically comes off on your credit card. You don't have to mess, you don't have to remember anything. If you don't like that, then you can say, no, I prefer manual payment. You'll still get reminders. You'll get a 10-day reminder, get a 7-day reminder, and then I think you get a 3. And then we send Terry around straight after that.
And we're going to Sicily, so you know.
Terry with the boys. No, but you'll get a reminder if you forget about it, and it just happens to be past due. Okay. Now, lastly, the terms and conditions. You can click that blue box there, it'll show you all the terms and conditions and such. You'll click that and then press continue, and we will get into the payment section. You can pay in a couple of ways. Credit card, all the major credit cards, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and Discover. You can pay by e-check directly from your checking account or your bank account. The first one is, yes, the checking account. So you can see here, it says US checking account. It says the name of the account. So it could be the John Smith Trust account or something like that. Put the routing number in there, the account number, and confirm the account number. Now, if you're not sure where the routing number is or the account number, you can see a nice picture of a personal check right there. And that picture will show you where the routing number is and where the account number is on your personal check. The amount that's going to be charged follows you throughout the process, so it's always there. Once you put that information in there, you press confirm booking. Okay? Or if you wish to, you can do credit card. It's exactly the same thing. The credit card number, expiration date, security code, net billing address, name on the card, and so on and so on. And as soon as you press confirm the booking, yes, you're done. As soon as you press that, you will get a pop-up on your computer, unless you have really strong pop-up blocking, which you won't. So we've got something to cater to that. But if you don't, you'll get a pop-up and it'll say, thank you for reserving the Waterbury chamber trip to Sicily, and this is what you have reserved. Okay? Don't worry about if you don't know how to save a pop-up, because it comes by email too. But it will also have Terry's contact information if you need any questions answered. If it doesn't come to you, yes, you've got an email that automatically comes. You're talking to a computer now. It doesn't go for lunch. It didn't go on holiday. It didn't go to the bathroom. It's working all the time. So I can assure you, as soon as you press confirm booking, it's with you. Whether you know it's with you or not is another question. It might, if you don't see that email, it's 99% of the time, it's in your spam if you don't see it in your inbox. Check your spam box and it's there. And then just right click on it and say this isn't spam, and it won't ever go back into your spam again. But the same information is there. It's thank you for reserving, a little paragraph about the trip, Terry's information and what you just reserved. There is also a blue link that says, would you like travel insurance? So if you want travel insurance, you can click that blue link and it comes to this landing page. And this landing page is for travel insurance. Now, before I talk about travel insurance, I'm going to talk about something else. From the day that you reserve your trip up to 131 days before you go, we at Quest Voyager give you a money back guarantee for the deposit, for the extension, for any day tours that you have reserved. So there's nothing stopping you reserving and getting yourself on the bus right now, because yes, all you'll have to do is give Terry a call and email her. She'll need it in writing, but send her an email. No, I can't go. And as long as you do it before 131 days, no questions asked, you get your money back, and we'll initiate the cancellation. Now, the only thing that you don't get is if you take out travel insurance. It's non-refundable. Now, I'm going to be very frank and blunt. I travel all over the world. I do maybe 5 or 6 international trips. I've done 6 international trips this past year. I never leave the country without travel insurance. I've seen too many times when people have gone overseas and they haven't taken it. And it's usually the time you don't take it out is the time you need it. In this case, it covers trip cancellations due to an accident or sickness, or, don't try this, death of you or an immediate family member. Okay? It covers trip interruption. It covers missed air connections or cruise connections, baggage of personal effects, baggage delays. That happened to me going to Croatia. In September, I arrived to Croatia without my luggage. I didn't worry about it because I had insurance, but I also had a spare set of clothes in my carry-on, so I wasn't worried at all. But because I had insurance, I got a new belt, a new pair of trousers, a new t-shirt. I got 12 pairs of underwear because they were on sale and I couldn't pass up the offer. Probably telling you more than you need to know. But hey, why not? It was covered by the insurance. I've got more underwear than I've ever had in my life. But I took that, I wasn't worried. So in some cases, it can take 2, 3, 4, 5 days for your luggage to come. So usually, and hopefully, if you ever have to use travel insurance, it's a baggage delay. Hopefully, it's nothing more serious than that. But that's why people take it just in case something serious happens. It also covers emergency medical and dental, accidental death and dismemberment. Again, don't try any of this stuff. It covers pre-existing conditions, and you can also take out cancel for any reason insurance. Cancel for any reason is just as it is. This side, the included features on the right-hand side, is for a reason. Medical, accident, death. The cancel for any reason is, yeah, I just don't want to go. The dog doesn't want me to go. I got a bad haircut. I don't want to be seen out in public. Such things as that. And if for cancel for any reason, as long as you take out the insurance at the time of reservation and you cancel your trip 48 hours or more before the departure, you can cancel for any reason. After 48 hours, it becomes just the standard policy on the right-hand side. But for that, you would get 75% of the penalty back from the insurance company itself. And that's what it gives you peace of mind. But again, don't forget, we have a money-back guarantee up to 131 days. But do not. That shouldn't stop you from getting the travel insurance. Those are the questions. Anybody? That's the presentation. Anybody got questions? Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I have a couple, can I do a few?
Go on. Yes.
Okay. So, I noticed in the room selection, it was either the twin, one double or two.
Yeah.
There's no, is there any way to upgrade to a king?
This is Europe, so kings are not widely. When I first came to this country, I never seen a king size bed before. I mean, it was almost like a swimming pool. It was so big. So doubles historically, maybe a queen out there in the hotels that we use. There might be a queen. The chances of kings are harder to get.
And I know it mentioned, I know we have eight, 9 nights, but then it said first class hotel for just 7.
8 nights.
8 nights, okay, so 1 night is just.
The computer cannot distinguish between, in the old days, before everything was computerized, we would say 7 nights. But if we do 7 nights, the computer would then cut off a night because there is actually a night flying. In the travel industry, if you don't have a bed, we really don't count that night because you're not in bed, but the computer doesn't know that. So we have to put 8 nights.
Okay.
So the computer knows when it starts and when it finishes.
And then for, I know that most of the meals are breakfast, but for the few times they are dinner, is it a prefixed menu?
Historically, it is a prefixed menu for included meals, yes. If anybody has any dietary needs, that will be taken care of.
And then the last question, so I know typically with insurance, there's a time frame for which you, from signing up that you have to get it. Is that the case?
So without getting, I'm not the insurance company, so any true insurance questions, you should call the insurance company itself. I'm gonna go back to the slide. Oh, no, we've gone off of it, but we can go back to the slide. It's being recorded. There's a telephone number, if I'm not mistaken there, that you can call them. But the best thing to do is, to walk into any trip thinking you're going to waste your money on the insurance because you don't want to use it. So get it as soon as you possibly can is my advice, and enter that conversation, I've wasted my money because I'm not going to use it. If you use it, then you'll be happy you took it out, but that's the best way to do it. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
What's typically the weather like that time of year there?
What's the weather like this time of year? If I knew that, I'd have the lottery tickets every week. But if I was to say, I mean, I'm gonna say this, I was in France last week. It's December, it was sunny every day, except a couple of hours, we got a bit of rain. But historically, this is a good time. We are deep south in Europe, one of the most southern areas of Europe. So if we were looking at historic history, it's going to be in the day high 60s, low to mid 70s, low humidity, dropping down in the evenings to 50s.
In October?
Yes, we're deep south.
Okay.
Deep south. 50s, low 50s in the evenings, high 40s. So rather than dwell too much on what it would be, it's best to talk about what to take, and it's layered clothing. Nothing too heavy, no ski jackets like you might have tonight, or quick quilted jackets, but layered clothing, sweatshirts, t-shirts, light jackets, raincoats, windbreakers, that type of thing. And we'll go through that. If you haven't traveled with the chamber before, we're gonna have another one of these meetings, and we'll go through what to take, what to pack, any other questions and such things like that, round about 20 days before we go. Okay. Yeah.
Explain to me, like on the way back, say you take the Malta trip, you fly back from Malta to Rome, or do you fly to another area?
Okay, so explain the trip back. Where are we flying? The pilots don't know where they're going tomorrow, never mind in October. So it's really difficult for me to say exactly how we're getting there and how we're getting back. So I would say, and I bring forth, because we have a couple of airline schedules on hold, but they're constantly changing. The airlines constantly move backwards and forwards on different flights and different times. But hypothetically, I'm going to say we'll be on a flight, most probably to Rome or a Frankfurt or a Munich or a Paris, and from there we're going to continue on into Malta. Into Sicily. Into Sicily, and on the return, Catania, which is another large airport, probably on that same routing. Once we get to Malta, we'll go from Malta to a European airport, and then onwards through to back to New York. Going, it will be an overnight flight. On the way back, it will be a day flight throughout. Okay. Now, importantly, there are some positives and negatives to group travel. If you're, and because you're asking this question, I'm going to pick on you. If you're asking that question because you want a specific airline or you want specific wants and needs, that's sometimes the reason that people do their own air. So you can be on whatever airline you want, when you want, because you don't get to choose which airline that you go on when you go on a group travel. That's one of the negatives. The positives of group travel is everything's taken care of for you. You really don't have to think. You just have to turn up. And sometimes if you don't turn up, you get a call on your telephone saying, "Where are you?" That's one of the things you might want to have.
So for example, if I wanted to stay in Europe for an extra week or so, it would be best to do my own air?
Well, so if you wanted to stay in Europe for another week or so, you'd have to let Terry know exactly what you want to do, and we'll tell you if we can do it or not. If we can't, then yes, you could make your own way there on the land only package. But let Terry, when you're signing up, in the notes section say, I want to stay in Europe for until XXX date, and I want to fly out of this airport, and let's see what we can do. Now, all of you don't do that, please. Right?
If you were to fly alone, or not fly alone, do your own flight, how do you hook up? How would you assure you hook up?
If you do your own air, we recommend that you come in, well, for this program, there's nothing of any long transfers. So you can make your own transportation to Palermo and jump in a taxi or an Uber from there. If you happen to be there at the same time that we are, you can jump on our bus and we'll take you. Because there'll be space there for that, but you can just jump in a taxi and do that. And on the return, wherever you're returning from, if your flight is at the same time or after hours, you can jump on a bus to the airport and we'll take you to you. Okay. Any other questions? Any online, Coach?
I've been answering them.
Oh, good, thank you.
Questions included, what currency, which would be the euro.
Yes, the
Check
euro.
with your bank on any credit card fees while you're there.
Mhm.
Question about upgrading flights, which we're sort of answering at the same time.
Uh-huh.
And, those are the big ones.
Okay. Anything else from the, yes,
For Terry and Lynn, I'm assuming we're doing ground transportation at the airport again?
Yes, so, and I wanna just cover that a little bit. So Terry and I will be hosting the trip. And what that means is you will have a familiar person who is in a leadership position with you at all times. We are not the tour guides. Once we get there, the tour guides are there. They are responsible for everything that Ian just said. Terry and I are there to be with you and make sure that if you have any issues, that they're taken care of. And then we will go along with you and enjoy the trip as well. The other host of the trip is my husband, Fraser Ward, who is right there at the door. Fraser and I travel together. We will host one bus and Terry hosts the other bus. When Ian was saying, that this will sell out, to be honest with you, Terry looked at me from across the room because I was really surprised at the number of people that have already signed up that are not here. I thought, okay, this is a great group of people, and I bet most of them are part of the 29 that already signed up. So I'm a little concerned that, the 60, which is what we thought, okay, we can handle 60 to go on this, may really sell out and may sell out quickly. So we are getting emails during this meeting of people who have come before. So thank you, John Farelli, who has been a member of our board. He has a group that's coming. They didn't all register yet, so I know that's coming in. I know some of you here are intending to sign up. So, if we have indication really, soon, we'll talk to Ian, is there a way to do 70? But we're not gonna do more than 70. Right now, we're committed to 60. So we have 2 buses of 35 people each. You'll be really comfortable on the bus. I think that's manageable for us to host. But we certainly don't wanna just there are chambers. I was just with somebody, I was with Ian in France. I was very fortunate to be invited on a FAM trip that Ian hosted with chamber execs from all over the country. And I was amazed at the numbers that some people do go. One woman hosts 80 people. It's a lot of work. And we have usually stayed between 50 and 60. So I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but if you know you're going to register, can you just raise your hand so we can have an idea? Okay. All right, good. And then I know we have people online who are also committing.
Just to go back to the question about rent.
Yes, so we will provide buses, coach transportation from Waterbury. And we will, there will be a fee for that because the chamber doesn't pay for that out of our budget. But we make it very affordable, so you don't have to worry about parking at JFK and worry about, how you're getting there, all of that. So we will ask that people are dropped off at a commuter lot right next to Naugatuck Valley Community College on Chase Parkway. And really, the trip starts right there. We make it fun. We try to, be as accommodating as possible. So we will provide the option to take the bus right from Waterbury. And I know many that have traveled with us before have all come on the bus with us. Anything else? We wanted to give away a few of our travel packages. This is a gift that we gave to everyone that went to Croatia. We just had about 53 people went to Croatia. Anybody here went to Croatia? Yeah, okay, yes. And that's got a fabulous book back there if you want to see what Croatia is like. So what we wanted to do is make this a little fun and give a few of these away.
Everybody,
You all got a ticket, right, when you came in? We're gonna do this quickly too, so we don't keep you too long. I'm just going to say the last three numbers, 232.
I figured that.
Who's got 232? Annette. Fraser, you can count these out. Okay, 241. There you go. 250.
You should.
There you go. You're welcome. That's a great makeup bag. I've been using it now. 254. There you go, Barbara.
See?
Barbara's one of our travelers. She's come before. Where did we go together? Greece.
Croatia.
Croatia. That's right, I'm getting all mixed up.
we're all.
253. 253. There you go. And the last one, 249.
249?
249. Last traveler. Well, thank you all for coming. You have, they were all great. If you have any questions, please see us. If anybody wants a bite to eat, please help yourself, and we'll be in touch. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.